What's up, guys? Welcome to Behind the Sweat, episode 4. We're going to be going over the front squat, building stability and mobility at the wrist, shoulder, and elbow complex. And then another thing we're going to focus on is our breathing. So let's get into it today. Okay, here we go. So one of the biggest problems that I find when it comes to doing front squats is that people don't want to do them because you find yourself a lot of times not having the flexibility. So often you see people come here, they go into the front squat and they're kind of vertical up, right? They're here and they don't have the flexibility to bring those elbows up. And why is that happening? It's because your lats are not being able to stay stable throughout the motion when you're going down, okay? But before we get into our lats, let's work on our wrists. That's something else, right? If you don't know how to bring your elbows back because of your wrists not being able to have this kind of flexibility, then you need to build that. What do I like to do to prep for it? It's simple. I grab a plate. You guys can grab any regular plate. Now, I like to do these, I call these waiter presses, okay? Like I'm serving at a restaurant. Notice how my wrist is. It forces me to have that flexibility and bend back, okay? See that? Now, what I often see is that people are too tight, so they don't have the flexibility, so they end up being like this. I need them to be back like this. So what I like to practice is coming up, going into a press, back down, just like a front squat position, going up, going back down. I'm still in front squat position. There we go. And I like to do 4 sets of 5 each side. So that way you build the stability doing that, okay? Those are one of the things I like to do when it comes to the wrist. Another thing that I like to do is knowing how to put yourself in position. Let's say you don't have all the flexibility with your fingers, right? Now, you might not be able to do this with all your fingers because you don't have the flexibility yet. So let's make it simple, okay? Try with 2 fingers first. Let's go here, 2 fingers. I'm going up, bring my elbow all the way up. Other side. Let's go down into a squat. Back up, keeping our elbows up high. Let's say you don't have the flexibility to do that either. Let's try 1 finger, okay? If we can do it with 1, just try the barbell. If you can't do that, then let's resort to the last thing, okay? I like to do these a lot with my members because you have some people that have had injuries in their elbows or their wrists. So it's really important that we play it smart because the front squat serves a lot of purposes and it can get you stronger in so many other lifts. But if you neglect it because you can't do it, then you're doing a disservice to yourself, okay? Now, we're gonna do it with these reps, okay? I wanna say shout out John Garish, my boy, for teaching me this, okay? I come here, wrist wraps, regular wrist wraps, come through, you put them through just like this, okay? That's 1, okay? Now do the other one, same thing. Now what I like about doing these is that these allow me to create space and freedom on my wrist and I'm able to do the squat motion, okay? So now we have them here. When you grab this, you want to make sure that this is exactly where you're going to be with your shoulders, right? You're never going to have them too wide where you're too out. You want to have them right on top of your shoulders. Now, what I like to do is come here, pull really tight, and get really tight to it. Okay, just like this. Now I'm going under and my elbows stay up. What can happen as a mistake is that as you start going up, you start letting the wrist wrap get loose. So you end up coming in this position right here. And this is bad because look where your hands are at, okay? And look where your hands need to be at. They need to be right at the thin of it. Boom, here. So this is one way I like to practice the front squats when people don't have flexibility in the wrist. Here, back up. I'm going through the whole motion, okay? So that way you prep for the front squats and you can do the front squats without any limitations. That's one of the ways that I like to do it, and the reason why I wouldn't do it in this format which sometimes you see, okay? It's because the positioning that your shoulders are at. So the other way that you often see front squats, and I understand if somebody has limitations to their shoulders, but the reason why I wouldn't do it is because you're crossing your arms. What happens when you cross your arms? Look at my back. My scapulas are open. I don't want my scapulas to be open. I want to stay tight. Here, upright, I want my lats to be engaged. Opposed to here, it's really hard to do that because you're spreading your back apart. So you're causing this, right? And as you're going down, I just personally don't like the weight distribution, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just preference, okay? Now, I hope you take these tips, put it into your front squat positionings, and remember to use wrist wraps to go up if you need them. If not, try the finger thing. Try going into the plate presses. That's gonna build up stability, okay?
I'll never let you down. Singing, oh, I never left the crowd.